What is up, my tricksters? You guys have probably been wondering, where the heck have you been, Ben? Where was our Master Duel Monday? If you guys had checked out the community tab, I uh, I wasn't able to bring you guys a Master Duel Monday. It's because I was sick. I didn't feel very good. Something I ate the evening before didn't really sit well with me, and it made me ill. So the day I was supposed to spend working on Master Duel Monday stuff, I just couldn't do it. Between being sick and then also having to fight through that to do family obligations, it was just not good. It was just not good. So I chose to rest and get some of my energy back, and so here I am now with a discussion video for you guys, because we're going to be talking about an archetype that I think is missing from the Yu-Gi-Oh game. I'm sure that the thumbnail might give you a hint as to what I'm talking about. But before we get into that, I want to remind you guys you can support this channel in one of two ways right now. And the two ways is that you can go to my merch store and you can check it out and get some really cool merch with some of the artwork I've created. I've got some like dinosaur themed stuff over there. I've also got like a anime version of Frank as the robot head, who's a character in my skits. You can get that. The other way you can support this channel is also through my Your Playmats link. You can get custom sleeves and custom mats, and they'll put any artwork you want. You can even use artwork from people other that you like. Like if you see something that I've created off of my Instagram and you want that on a sleeve, go get it. I don't care. Go for it. And do it. And just make sure you use my link, because that directly supports this channel. All right. Let's get to the meat and potatoes of this stuff. The big reveal is, I'm sure that you guys probably realized, is werewolves. Werewolves is the missing archetype in Yu-Gi-Oh. Sorry about that. Leave it to my nose in the middle of a recording to decide to throw a hissy fit. Anyway, like I was saying, the archetypes that we're missing is werewolves. I'm ready to see a werewolf archetype, because werewolves are actually something that Konami's kind of hinted at pretty early on in the Yu-Gi-Oh game, like especially with like Pitch Black, Warwolf, Gene Warped Warwolf, and Lycanthrope. Like these monsters are werewolves. Now, I don't know if Konami wanted us to pronounce this Warwolf or Werewolf, but I mean it could just be their weird spelling of werewolf, honestly, and I have a bad habit of calling the Pitch Black werewolf or Warwolf a werewolf. It's just, yeah, I don't know why. Maybe it's because I'm dyslexic, so when I see these monsters, all I see is Gene Warped Werewolf, not Warwolf. But these guys are supposed to be werewolves. Let's just be honest. They're all werewolves, and I don't know why Konami won't just type out werewolf on that. The only reason I can think of that Konami hasn't like just flat out called these monsters werewolves is because maybe it's some kind of law in some random country. You know, like in England, for example, in the 90s, I don't know if that law's still in effect, but in the 90s, there was like a law that you couldn't show nunchucks on media for some reason. That was like banned from TV in England. So when they made Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles the cartoon in their version, they edited out Michelangelo's nunchucks and replaced it with a grappling hook. So I'm thinking it could be something like that, like maybe some law in like Mexico or something that says, "Oh, you can't have werewolves. That's offensive here," or something like that. I don't know. Or, it could just be like here in the States where you had a bunch, and maybe possibly in England where you just had a bunch of like Karen moms who were like, "That's too violent," some silly thing like that. Anyway, point being is we have werewolves in the game, but we don't have a werewolf archetype. So one of the things that I would really love to see and I think it's time, is that Konami needs to make this a thing, because we have vampires, but we don't have their antagonist, which is the werewolf archetype. Now, there would be some really cool things I would love to see, right? Because in a lot of fictions, like werewolves are like the antagonist to vampires and vice versa. I would love to see maybe something that connects to that. Like if they were like, it'd be kind of cool if they were like the excuse me, the anti-vampire archetype. I think that would be really neat. Maybe they could go that route. Another thing that would be really interesting is like, how are they going to do it? Like, They could go like with their roots here, like you know how like lycanthrope is kind of the I think the first official werewolf monster in the game, and they have like synthesis spell. I think it'd be really interesting if they made some better werewolves, but went the same route. Like they could go, okay, cool, we're gonna make more werewolves, but these werewolves and use like the moon as a ritual spell. You know what I mean? Like the, you know, that kind of thing. And then like, there's tons of stuff that I would love to see. Like you know, like for example, uh, you could have like you know, like you know how we have Vampire Hunter, which is like, oh, if it battles a dark monster, and then all of the, you know, all of the vampire, or like you know what I mean, like you could have a werewolf hunter, and then if he battles an earth monster, they all die. You know what I mean? That'd be kind of like just kind of a fun thought there. It's not a monster that would see a lot of play, but just be something more aesthetically there in that set would be really cool. Or if it battles a ritual monster, like say all of the werewolves are ritual based, you know, representing that like, oh yeah, all of your generic ritual monsters get turned into werewolves if you activate the spell or whatever. I don't know. It's just an interesting thought. The idea in my head was like you could either do that route, or if you could go like you could have them be a bunch of like beast warriors that just kind of like look like normal people, except like you could have like in the artwork you could have like hints of the wolf in there. Like one guy is like holding a sword and he looks like a really friendly guy, but like you know, like if there would be like a mirror in the artwork, and in the mirror you see a werewolf, you know what I mean, that kind of thing, or like you know, I don't know, like you see a lady and she's like ooh, all uber seductress or whatever, but like she's got one yellow glowing eye or something like that, you know, like something that kind of hints that this person isn't what they seem to be. That would be really fun. You could go that route with it, with the artwork, and then of course Beast Warrior just kind of makes sense for the typing, which means you know, and I would prefer these guys get their own like full support, like search six cards and things like that, so they didn't have to necessarily rely on like things like Tenki or you know ritual searching support. That's you know that's what idealistically that's what I would like, but you know Konami's kind of up in the air on that one. It's just that like in it's just that we don't really have a werewolf archetype, and I really want a werewolf archetype. I think it would be kind of neat. You could have different. You could even they could Konami could even play with it and have like different types of werewolf boss monsters. You know, like you could have one that's like you know more like the Wolf Man. You know what I mean? Where it's like still a guy, but he has wolf like features. Another one could be like more like a dire wolf. You know, they could be like a horse sized wolf or something like that. And then like the big boss monster would be something like lycanthrope, only like maybe more muscly, maybe something like Van Helsing, you know, was in the Van Helsing movie. If you guys know what I'm talking about. The point that I'm getting at is I think the werewolf archetype is, or the werewolves need to have their own official archetype. And like I said, there's tons of cool stuff you could do. Like you could make an anti werewolf card, and it's like a silver bullet. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like, because silver is supposed to be the weakness of a werewolf, that kind of thing. It just would be kind of funny to have a card that's really called Silver Bullet. You play this, and then all the werewolf monsters in the field go away or something. I don't know. You know, there's tons of fun stuff you could do with it. Like, you know, and then of course you have the claws thing. You could have like a claws field spell or something. You know, there's I don't know, or not field spell, equip spell. I mean, there's tons of routes to go about it. But I want to hear from you guys. So if you guys were in charge of making a werewolf archetype, how would you go about it? You know, honestly, like I feel like I would go more for like a ritual based deck, because that's, you know, because lycanthrope is kind of like the first actual werewolf type monster, like, you know, because lycan equals werewolf. These guys are just kind of werewolf by appearance more than anything, and in name, because werewolf implies werewolf. But lycanthrope is kind of the official one, so I think I would go more of a ritual route. Well, how would you do it? Would you go for exceeds? Would you go for synchros? Would you go for you know, would you go for a link based deck? I mean, that'd be a little odd in my opinion, but not too crazy. I honestly feel like rituals would be a really good one, because rituals also because Konami's, like, let's face it, they're going to be a little lazy, and if this is going to be an archetype they're going to support, they would probably give it to us in spurts like they did like Burning Abyss, You know, so like the really good support, you know, like Spiral and all them, they give the good support comes later. So you pick up the junk now, you know, you get the good stuff later. That kind of thing is what I'm picturing. So, you know, I don't know. That's just what I'm thinking. Also, because like, you know, if it's a ritual deck, there's a lot of like very basic support there that's already there, like searching and stuff. So anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. If you're new to the Bin 2000 yugioh channel, please consider subscribing. I usually make 2 videos a week. This week just didn't work out that way because you know your boy was under the weather, and on top of that, you know, family obligations and all that stuff. But you know, so this is a discussion that's really important to me. Let me know what you guys think. If you're new here, consider subscribing. And my goal is to get to the 10,000 mark. So if you guys want to help me out with that, it would be greatly appreciated. Anyway, I've been 2000 yugioh. I'm your friendly neighborhood Yu-Gi-Oh superhero, and I will catch you in the next one. Peace.